Hi, it's Frank Versace with Versace Real Estate, and today we're going to take a look at what happened in the Winnipeg real estate market for November 2018. Stick around. All right, we're getting close to the end of the year and it's time to do a bit of a recap here for November. So according to the Winnipeg Realtors Association, let's share some of the numbers that have happened here. What you're going to find in the overall headlines is that the market is down in November by about 2%. So what does that mean? It means that unit sales, the number of properties that sold in this November was 864 units versus last November, 878 units. That gives us our decline of 2%. Again, we're talking about number of properties sold. We're not talking about value. What about for the year? We like to look, of course, month by month, but the year is really the broader picture. Year to date here, we're sitting, you can see we're down about 5% for the total year. What does that mean? It means that so far as of November, we're up to 12,235 units sold, whereas last November, we were at 12,890 units sold. That gives us our 5% decrease in the market for number of units sold. Now, what I like to do as well is break out the differences between houses and condos, because they are two distinct markets and they do operate quite distinctly. So when we take a look at units sold here for houses, we've got in the month of November 610 houses that were sold versus last year 621 houses that were sold, and that gives us our 2% decline in terms of the number of houses sold. And that's pretty much in line here with our overall market stats for November, down about 2%. What the surprising number is here is for condos. This year we had 122 condos sold versus last year 111 condos sold in the month of November. And what that means is that condo unit sales are up about 10%. Now that's great news if you're a condo unit holder. You're seeing a little bit more sales in that property category. Now, why is that happening? Here's what I'm thinking. I think that basically there's been a lot of condos for sale and sellers are now getting in line wanting their units sold and adjusting their prices accordingly and trying to get that inventory absorbed into the marketplace. So buyers are out there, they're smelling a little bit of blood, sellers are adjusting their prices to get their condos sold by year end, and here we have a little bit of a bump in price, a bit of a spike in condo unit activity. And that's my take on why condos have jumped up. Now let's take a look at days on market. This is the language of real estate, DOM for short. A lot of buyers, a lot of sellers want to know what's happening in terms of the speed of the market. Next to price, as I mentioned in these videos, time on market is the next thing that people want to take a look at. Well, for houses, we're staying in line at about 38 days to get a house sold. So that's pretty much been fairly consistent throughout the year. Condos we can see here sitting at around 45 days, so a little bit longer time to get a condo sold than a house sold. And again, that's showing a little bit of a weakness in the condo market. Again, as buyers are seeing condos sitting around for a little bit longer, they're going in and they're fighting and negotiating to get a better price. And I think sellers are now realizing that is what they need to do. And that's where we're seeing this bit of a bump in the condo market as well. What I want to share with you that I thought was interesting as I was looking at some of these numbers was the days on market depending on the price point. So what we're finding here is that homes that are priced under $100,000 are taking 52 days to get sold. You'd think if it was a less expensive property, it would be selling faster, but actually it's taking longer, 52 days to get a house under $100,000 sold. Whereas in the price category between $200,000 to $250,000, we're seeing them sell faster than the average. Average is 38. 200 to 250, selling at 31 days, so slightly faster than the average. So when we take a look at these price categories as a percentage of the market, under 100,000 here in Winnipeg is about 5% of all the homes sold are under 100,000, whereas between 200 and 250, that represents about 33% of our total market. So certainly if you're a seller selling into the 200 to 250 range, you should take comfort that you're selling into a very strong sector of the market for price point, and certainly taking less than the average to get those homes sold. Now, what I want to share with you as well is a lot of people like to know what's happening with property selling at list price, above list price, or below list price. So here's what sellers want to know. They want to know, if I put my home on the market, what are the chances that I'm going to get my list price or better? And buyers want to know, if I go in and I make an offer on a house, what are the chances that I can get a better deal, that I can get paid less than the seller is asking for? So let's take a look at those numbers. It's about 11% of homes are selling for more than the seller listed the home for. So again, that's pretty good news. It's a fairly significant number, and it's nice to see that there's still that demand that properties can still get above the list price. About 5% of the time, the seller or the buyer is paying right at the seller's list number. Now, usually in these categories, 5% at list price and 11% above list price, typically those homes are selling very, very quickly. Strong demand. They're set up properly. They show well. You know, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And that's very true if you're going to try to get at or above your list price. You've got to come out of the gate very, very strong. Now, for buyers, here's the number that they love to see: is 84% of the time, homes are selling for below the list price. So buyers are very excited to see that. And as we can tell, if they're selling below the list price, and for condos sitting on market a little bit longer, that's probably why we're seeing this little bit of a bump here, 10% bump in condo sales, because sellers are now changing their mind and saying it's time to adjust to the market and clear out this inventory. What other people like to see in terms of the diversity of the Winnipeg market is the highs and the lows. So I'd like to share that with you each video here. And in Winnipeg, we had a high sale. Our top end sale was a nice luxury home at 1.6 million. And so that's, again, a very nice home here in Winnipeg. On the low end, $30,000 sale to just show you how low the market can go. And I think last month it was even lower than that. So it's always nice to see those low numbers as well. Lastly, I want to talk to you about the type of market that we're in. You know, as we start to get close to the holidays here, people always want to talk to the realtor. Hey, how's the market? How's the market? Well, how the market is based on the type of market. What I mean by that is a seller's market, a balanced market, or a buyer's market. Who's winning the game here? Are the sellers winning? Are the buyers winning? Is it kind of even? So how do we determine that? Well, it's called the absorption rate. And what the absorption rate tells us is the number of homes for sale, active listings, divided by the number of properties that have sold. Meaning that if there have been no new homes that hit the market, how long will it take to clear out all the existing inventory down to zero? So again, we break it down, house versus condo, because those are two distinct markets. So let's take a look at the housing market. Well, right now we have 2,171 active houses for sale. Fairly good inventory to choose from if you're a buyer. How many sold? 610 units sold. As we can see, 610 units sold here in November. So if no new homes hit the market, it would take about 3.5 months to clear out those 2,171 houses. What does that mean? What kind of market does that mean we're in? Well, if we're in a seller's market, it's going to take about less than 3 months to clear out inventory. If we're in a balanced market, somewhere between 3 to 5 months. And if we are in a buyer's market, it's going to take more than 5 months to clear out that inventory. So what we see here for houses, 3.5 months, puts us right squarely into a balanced market. So houses, if anyone asks, houses are in a balanced market. That means the buyer's not winning, the seller's not winning, it's even Steven. What about for condos? Well, for condos, we've got 729 active units for sale, which is a fairly significant amount of condos for sale available for buyers. How many did we sell? 122 units, as I mentioned, 122 units right there. So 729 divided by 122, if no new units hit the market, it would take 6 months to clear out all of those 729 units. Again, we go back to our trusty chart. That means it's taking longer than 5 months So condos are squarely into a buyer's market. The buyers are winning in condos. I think sellers are getting the hint, adjusting their prices, doing what's necessary to get their condos sold, and that's where we're seeing buyers take advantage of that opportunity. So I hope this information has been very helpful for you. Certainly we here at Versace Real Estate, any of our agents would love to help you, your friends, your family members. Send us a referral, send us a message, give us a call, send us a text. Again, we would love to be of service whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And absolutely, during this time, make sure you stay warm, stay positive, and make it a great day.